This was about 20 years ago. I was working as an hourly manager at a popular American fast food place, franchise, not corporate. I had been there several years and had accrued some vacation time. I requested a week off, months in advance, to go on a hunting trip a few states away with my dad, who taught me to shoot and hunt. The vacation time was approved by the general manager of the store and I booked the trip, non-refundable. A week before I was due to go on vacation, the head office decided to replace my general manager with one from a different store they owned. The new general manager decided he had to assert his dominance by rejecting my vacation time and stated that he didn't have enough managers available to cover the shifts. I argued that the trip was already booked, but he wasn't hearing any of it. I liked my job and didn't want to leave, but there was no way I was going to miss this trip. I tried everything to get him to approve the time off, but he scheduled me to work that week anyway. He said if I didn't work, I'd be fired. I told him I was going. I liked my coworkers and didn't want to screw anyone over by having shifts that needed covered, so I got them all covered a few days before I left. The general manager wouldn't approve them working for me and still said I had to work. I was working the day before the trip, Friday, and he knew I was leaving the next day no matter what. Part of my job was to schedule the crew shifts. It typically needed to be done by Sunday for the following week, but on this day he said I had to have it done that day. Cue the malicious compliance. One additional thing to note, this was about 15 years after the most popular girl's name was Ashley and the most popular boy's name was Michael. That means we had 8 Ashleys and 6 Michaels working there. It was normally trouble to keep from having more than 2 of them there at the same time because of labor laws. That Saturday, from 11 AM to 2 PM, lunch rush, on the general manager's shift, every single one of them was scheduled at the same time. I can only imagine the chaos when he wanted one of them to do something. When I picked up my last check, another shift manager confirmed that it was as glorious as I had imagined. I used to work as a crew member for gigs, sometimes at Wembley Stadium, London, and one particular time, 1999, we are helping the set designer with his massive set, and they keep us on for a few gigs. Most load-ins for a gig, getting the stage up, the set, lighting, sound etc. take a few days, but because of the roof on Wembley and the fact there was a lot of pyro on this set it would take a week. We all have our AAA passes, getting everything ready for the load-in, ramps all set, and we get told that trucks are going to be delayed, but to not set up the barriers again for where they are parked. We get to lie around chatting crap to each other waiting for the trucks. We say hello to the security guys and bring them cups of tea every now and then. We're all cool and just enjoying doing nothing and getting paid for it. Then there is a shift change on the security and Robo security pulls up in his tricked out car. "Who are you lot?" he asks, and a forest of AAAs appear and are waved. "What are you doing waiting here?" I'm supervising the very hard work of DOSing, so I say alright mate, we are just waiting for the load-in, but the trucks are delayed. He then replies, "I'm not your mate, I'm here to look after the security for backstage." Like the backstage for a gig at Wembley only needs him to make it secure. Ok, we are going to be here for a week, so I try to build bridges and the conversation goes like this. Me, "Are you going to park there?" Robo Knob, "Yeah, I'm security." Me, "I wouldn't park there." Robo Knob, "It's parking in it, so I'm parking there. Talk to production if there's a problem." Me, "No worries, mate." He stomps off to protect the band as he probably sees it. The trucks then start arriving, and as I'm supervising I get to park them up. They arrive in aids, as there are 38 containers coming, and they drop the trailer and the cab goes off to get another. I'm asked about the car parked in the middle of the parking area for the trailers and I have to tell them that he's security and I've been told to take it up with production if there's an issue. An accord is reached without a word being said, and the trailers are distributed by how they are loaded in, but the first 4 all seem to be parked around Robo Knob's car. We get all the trailers set and start the night long load-in. A lot of it is just emptying the trailers and putting the flight cases where they need to be. So it gets to 6 AM in the morning and we've been going hard since 11 PM the night before. And lo, Robo Knob appears. "Where's my car?" Me, "It's where you parked it, mate." Robo Knob, "How am I going to get it?" Me, best speak to production as we're not allowed to move them trailers now until next Monday. His bottom lip actually quivered, and he walked off. We then got to see him picked up by his missus, her giving lip all the time for getting her up at this time. I lived in a really horrid place that had an equally horrid property management team. I say team because they changed PMs whenever there was a problem. Nothing was ever done, and in the end there is a massive report against them with relevant authorities for their misconduct. But to the MC in question, property manager told me I had to have the carpets professionally cleaned. Wasn't in the contract, or I'd lose my $800 bond when I moved out. After some back and forth, explaining I had used a professional carpet cleaning machine and was well experienced in doing vacate cleans, she insisted it must be an accredited carpet cleaner and that she would await for an official receipt that had their ABN on it before approving the return for bond. I did some research and found out I could become an accredited carpet cleaner as there are no official licensing boards in my state. So I did what any sane person would do. I paid the $85, did the online course, and got my certificate. Registered a business name, ABN etc etc. All free via a govt program I was in at the time. Handed the property management a copy of my accreditation and an invoice for services. I became a professional carpet cleaner and have since properly launched a vacate cleaning business that is still going 6 months later. Not as malicious as some MC in this subreddit, but it was a decision made by people who didn't understand my job and I complied knowing it would result in excrement hitting fans, so it seems fitting. Okay, so this was at my last job as the company's IT guy. It was supposed to be management, but they refused to give me the title, even though I was effectively doing a manager's job, albeit without staff. On the second and fourth Thursday of each month I would update all of their servers in line with Patch Tuesday. This was in Australia, so I'd download updates on Wednesday afternoon and install them on Thursday night at 6:30 PM. It was also a good opportunity to engage in some preventive maintenance, installing hardware, firmware updates, that sort of thing. On the day of the maintenance, I would send 6 emails related to it, one at 9 AM, one at 4:30 PM, to remind people as they wrapped up for the day, one an hour before, one 10 minutes before, one just before I start, and one to sound the all clear once I was done. A salesperson complained that I was sending too many emails about this, so the general manager, GM, and managing director, MD, told me to only send one email at 4:30 PM. I asked about the all clear email and was shot down. Alright then. Cue malicious compliance. The next patch Thursday, 2 things happened. The GM got booted out of the system when I brought it down for patching. Not the first time. Last time he had time to stop me thanks to the emails I sent. Funny that. He called angrily demanding I stop, but I pointed out the email I sent at 4:30 PM and B, that the process had started and could not be stopped. No idea how long it would take. Usually takes about 3 hours. Sorry. 3.5 hours later, the last server finished updates and booted back up. I opened Outlook and almost clicked new email before remembering that I was not allowed to send the all clear email. Oh well, I turned my phone off and went to bed. The next day I woke to several voicemail messages from my colleagues, as well as messages from an angry GM and MC demanding to know why I didn't send the all clear. I printed off the email where they shot down my question about the all clear email and showed them upon arrival at the office. After this, I went to each desk and called each remote salesperson to tell everyone that the maintenance was done, making no secret of the fact that I was told not to send an all clear. When I returned to my desk, there was a reply to the email trail about the notifications requesting that I send an all clear from now on. Thank you for watching. Slap that like button and comment your opinion on these stories below. I'm waiting. Write that comment. Seriously. Have you written it yet? If you don't comment, you make a bunny cry somewhere. You're not that kind of person. I know. Anyways, peace out and catch you tomorrow.